Have you ever wondered if it's worth upgrading a part of your setup like your monitor, your controller, your mouse, keyboard, or even your headset? A lot of these products claim to make you a better gamer, and in today's video, I'm going to be investigating and giving you my thoughts on if some of these products are actually helpful for increasing your performance, and if they're worth getting specifically for Destiny 2. I've made a lot of videos on this channel about Destiny 2 tips and how to improve in-game, so I thought it would make sense to also have a video covering your actual gaming gear because it has a big impact on your performance. Most of this video is for both console and PC players, but the section towards the end about controller and M&K is specific for your input device. There's some complicated technology involved here, and a lot of people don't really understand why these things can help you improve in Destiny, so I'll try my best to explain everything as concisely and accurately as possible. Let's start off with the monitor, an essential part of any player's setup. Whether you're on console or on PC, your monitor, TV, or whatever type of screen you have can make a pretty huge difference when it comes to your performance. I've played on a lot of setups and I notice an astronomical difference in what I'm able to do in-game based on what monitor I'm using. A good gaming monitor has a few key specs that make it good for Destiny 2, and one of these is refresh rate. This is basically the number of times per second that your monitor is able to draw a new image, and this is measured in hertz. Having a high refresh rate monitor makes Destiny look extremely smooth, less blurry, and feel more responsive overall. As Linus pointed out in his video investigating the advantages of higher refresh rate and FPS values, higher refresh rates allow gamers to see what's going on a little more clearly and quickly. And that's another huge advantage to keep in mind. A better monitor will simply allow you to react faster to what's happening in game. This is because you're actually seeing more up-to-date information on screen, and this includes enemy positions and even your own aim and movement. So if you've ever come across a player in PvP who seems to have inhuman reaction speeds, they're probably on a good monitor to help them do it. For me, the difference between 30Hz and 144Hz gameplay is literally night and day for Destiny 2. When I made the switch, it took me a few days to adjust, but after that, I simply became a much better player. I could hit my snipes and primary shots more consistently and accurately, and all my stats, including my KD, drastically increased over a short period of time. However, a really key thing to keep in mind when considering monitors is the relationship that all of this has to the amount of frames per second, or FPS, that your gaming system is able to produce. If you're on an older console like a PS4 that can only produce 30 FPS, you won't really see much of a difference directly from the high refresh rate spec. However, that's not to say that console players won't see a benefit from a good gaming monitor. A key difference between most TVs and monitors is that TVs tend to have significantly longer response times. Most gaming monitors these days boast extremely fast response times of around 1 or 2 milliseconds, but TVs often fare much worse, with response times 10, 20, or even 50 times slower than monitors. So if you're playing on a huge living room TV from the Stone Age, you probably have a much better experience on a monitor that's more suited for gaming. Size and resolution are other factors you should take into consideration. I'd usually recommend something between 23 and 27 inches so that you can sit at a comfortable distance and still see the details and the corner of your screen by just moving your eyes and not turning your head. For resolution, most PC gamers tend to opt for 1080 or 1440p to optimize FPS performance. The newer consoles actually run Crucible at 120 FPS on a 1440p resolution, so a high refresh rate 1440p monitor would be ideal for console gamers, and I've actually got a recommendation for you coming up. So to summarize this section, I'd highly recommend a high refresh rate, fast response time monitor if you're on a system that's able to produce high FPS. Just make sure that you turn on the maximum refresh rate on your PC's advanced display settings. If you're on an older console like a PS4, a monitor will still provide an advantage when compared to a TV due to response times, but it won't feel like an insanely dramatic change. To provide a concrete example of a monitor that checks all the boxes for playing Destiny 2 on any platform, I'd recommend the BenQ EX2710Q. BenQ is famous for making fantastic gaming monitors, and this one is a brand new 1440p 165Hz monitor with a 27-inch 1ms moving picture response time IPS panel. Now, if that sounded like a bunch of gibberish to you, don't worry. Just know that in my opinion, these specifications are ideal for a lot of gamers, including myself and probably you. The high refresh rate is perfect for PvP, the high resolution looks amazing and shows off every detail, and the IPS panel has beautiful color accuracy while still maintaining a fast response time. This monitor comes equipped with light tuner and black equalizer technology, so the details won't be missed in extremely bright or dark locations in game. Ever since the Beyond Light update to Destiny 2, I found that the lighting on certain maps can make everything really difficult to see. So in theory, this can help clear things up a little bit in combination with the monitor's color vibrance. It has a built-in 2.1 channel audio, which is like a million times better than the audio on other monitors I've owned, but I'll get into more about Destiny 2 audio and headphones later in this video. A couple other cool features includes BenQ's HDRI, an auto-adjusted HDR setting that allows for clear and realistic details, and an easy-to-use on-screen display. Something that matters a lot for us gamers is ergonomics and adjustable positioning on the monitor. I personally recommend positioning the top of your screen at eye level or just a bit higher and within an arm's length away. The goal should be to view all parts of the screen without moving your head so that you can rapidly check ability cooldowns and the radar while still seeing the details in the center of your screen. BenQ's monitor does a great job in this department, allowing for convenient adjustment with a design that is focused on user ergonomics. And it's clearly built to last too, with a 3-year warranty. BenQ did send out this monitor for me to test and keep, but they did not review this video, and all of the thoughts I just expressed are my genuine opinions as a Destiny 2 enthusiast. This next portion of the video is focused on headphones because they're actually an incredibly underrated part of your setup. I could literally close my eyes and walk around a PvP map and still have a pretty good idea of what's going on around me, where my opponents are, and exactly what weapons and subclasses they're using. I made a video about the value of sounds a few months ago and it really underperformed, so you probably haven't watched it, but I'll link it in the description and on the top right corner of your screen right now if you want to go check it out. I actually think that certain sound cues are even more valuable than the information you'd usually get from the radar, so please don't overlook the value of sounds. However, all of this doesn't matter if you don't have a decent way of actually getting those sounds to your ears. Headphones are definitely an advantage because they allow you to better hear directional sounds and have extremely high location accuracy. When I play, I'm constantly using sound cues like jumping, footsteps, super activations, and weapons fire to inform my decisions and understand what's going on in game. It's like having a second radar that's active while I hardscope my sniper. I use the Sennheiser and Drop PC3 headphones, and I think they're great for gaming and good for music overall. A lot of reviews on YouTube agree with me, and the directional imaging allows me to pinpoint the location of my enemies without even seeing them, and that's something that you'll never be able to achieve on your monitor speakers or a lower tier headset. I'll leave a link in the video description if you'd like to get a pair for yourself. Definitely the best headset I've ever owned, and allows me to always catch those pesky flankers who like to sneak up behind me in PvP. Now let's talk about controllers and the things that people add onto their controllers. Are custom controllers worth it? Are they actually going to help you play better? What about controller add-ons like stick extenders, back buttons, and paddles? I want to preface this section by saying that I have an ultimate controller guide that covers everything you could ever want to know about playing Destiny 2 on controller, so this video will only be talking about the physical controller itself. I've used a variety of controllers including multiple Scuff and Astro controllers, and personally I love all of them for the custom paddles that they have on the back. These allow me to always keep my thumbs on the sticks, and this is perfect for Destiny because I can jump and shoot, slide then shoot, swap weapons while turning, shoot then dodge instantly, the list goes on. Another cool feature that some controllers like the Astro have is extreme customization. You can do things like adjust the sensitivity curves on your sticks and triggers, add trigger stops, and custom map every button to literally whatever you want. I also want to take a moment to address a common complaint that I hear about custom controllers. They break. And I'm gonna be honest, there's no such thing as an immortal controller. No matter how much money you spend, your controller will eventually wear out and stop working. It could take years depending on how much you play and the build quality of your controller, but it's bound to happen eventually. So just keep that in mind whenever you buy a new controller, whether it's a standard one or a fancy custom one. Also, something that I didn't even know until recently is that Sony has their own official paddle attachments for their regular controllers, and they're actually pretty inexpensive. I haven't used them myself, but they look pretty nice and they're a decent alternative to buying an expensive custom controller, so I'll leave a link in the video description for this back button attachment. If you're on Xbox, I'm pretty sure the only official offering is the Xbox Elite controller that includes paddles. A popular addition that many people make to their custom or standard controllers are the Control Freaks. These are small thumbstick extenders and grips that improve your range of motion and control over the sticks. If you need to move your thumbstick 0.003 centimeters to hit your snipe, it can be really hard to do. But with Control Freaks, the extended range of motion makes it so that you can move your thumbs more and still get the desired result. I've used these in the past and found them to be another helpful and inexpensive way to be more accurate, especially on higher sensitivities, and you may find them beneficial if you're trying to improve your primary shot or become a better sniper. They also protect your thumbsticks so they don't get worn down. It can be a real hassle if the rubbery part on your controller thumbsticks gets worn off because they can get uncomfortable pretty fast. Like basically everything else in this video, there will be some links in the video description so that you can easily find these. Next up, we have the mouse and keyboard. For mice, most people prefer lighter mice with some extra buttons for extra in-game actions. Some very popular choices include the G Pro Wireless, Glorious Model O and D, and the Ponage Ultra Custom. Having a lighter mouse with a high build quality that is meant for gaming can give you an edge because you'll be able to physically react faster with your aim and be more accurate and comfortable while playing. Also, the added buttons that you'll find on most gaming mice can be extremely convenient for binding frequent actions so that you can hit them rapidly and free up some valuable space around your WASD keys for more important things. You'll also want a mousepad that has a comfortable speed for you, but the main thing is size. You're going to want a really large mousepad so that you can easily turn around and aim in game without running out of space. For keyboards, I'd recommend something with linear mechanical switches because they will activate immediately upon pressing. Some other types of keyboards and switches won't trigger until they've been pushed down a certain distance, and while this may be desirable for typing, they're not recommended for gaming because there will be a delay before it reads your actual keystroke. So all things considered regarding these products, I think they do provide a certain advantage to most players, but they won't magically transform you into a pro. You can totally do okay with just a basic console and a default controller, but there's no denying that upgrading your setup will also upgrade your performance and increase your potential as a player. I'd recommend you take a look at your setup and consider upgrading the worst part you have because at the end of the day, each part plays a role in the overall system. With that said, I'd like to recommend a video for you to watch next if you want to succeed in Destiny 2 PvP. The video on the top of your screen now is something I call the 40-60 rule, and it's basically a set of guidelines to help players improve their positioning and usage of cover in the Crucible. I seriously think that cover and positioning are the most overlooked PvP skills, so you'll probably see an improvement in your game after watching that video. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope to see you next time.